For a moment here, and for anyone who might be watching, I would like to welcome people to the Town of Pine Plains Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for April. We have three items to discuss tonight. We have a public hearing at 7:30, which is going to start shortly after I give this little introduction. And then we have two other applications to take a look at. And so with that, I'd have a motion to open the public hearing on he said the self-storage HTWO properties. And so that would be it has been duly advertised in the paper. I did see that you had many receipts. Poor Steve has done how many different public hearings now? Part of it was, I have to admit, that it would be on the town to pick up that we held a public hearing last month only looking at one of the items that he was exceeding. And after it went back to the planning board, it was discovered that there was another one that everybody had missed. And so we decided that the safest thing to do legally was to rehold the public hearing, noting that he needs an area variance for coverage, which is what we discussed last month. And then what was also discovered was that the new climate controlled building is 9,600 square feet.
95 to
95, okay.
Yeah, in that range, yeah.
Yeah, and there is a limit of 6,000. And so that was the issue this evening. Were there any other changes to the site plan that
No, none other than what I had posted at the planning board
Okay.
meeting as well. No.
And so with the public hearing open, I would ask if anyone here is interested in having the applicant just go through his application, or are there any other comments or questions? Hearing none from the audience and not seeing anybody coming on here.
Any letters or
Do any of the board members have questions? All right, we've got a 3-minute public hearing. Well, I guess if somebody runs in, I'll let them speak again, but I would take a motion then to close the public hearing.
To close the public hearing?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor will say aye. Aye. So I went through and actually revised our resolution from last time. The one thing that I can never know for sure was somebody new going to come out of the woodwork. I don't know if you want to take a look at that, but it just mentions about the existing the change in the fact that we needed to have a 3,600 square foot variance for the climate controlled building.
Yeah, see that.
All right, so this is the draft for the board to review. I'm just going to read through it. It's the Town of Pine Plains Zoning Board of Appeals is in receipt of an area variance application from HTWO Properties, Limited Liability Corporation, for property located at the address of 2818 West Church Street, the Town of Pine Plains, with the tax parcel numbers, to allow the expansion of an existing self-storage facility with the impervious lot coverage increased to a maximum of 73%, which includes a proposed a total of 19,200 square feet expansion of the existing buildings, including a new building that will total 9,600 square feet, exceeding the maximum by 3,600 square feet. And whereas the zoning board of appeals has reviewed the subject variance request submitted by Steve Hobson of HTWO Properties. And whereas after review of the application, including review of the town habitat map, I'm actually gonna get that out for you guys. I came down, I do come down and pull it out. But I'm gonna make you guys look, not now, but I'll show you where it is, so that you
Okay.
too can do your homework when you feel up to it. A review of the town habitat map, a legally noticed public hearing held today. And whereas the proposed action is a type 2 action under seeker and by law is not considered to have a significant impact on the environment and no further environmental review is required. And whereas the existing lot is located in the Hamlet Main Street District, which has a maximum coverage limit of 50%, and the applicant is requesting a maximum coverage of 73%, with a climate controlled building exceeding the 6,000 square foot limit by 3,600 square feet. And whereas the board finds that the proposed additions and increased coverage will not create an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood, in that the self-storage facility already exists. And whereas the entire proposal will still require a complete site plan review by the town planning board, which will deal with the issues of parking, landscaping, aesthetics, traffic flow, pedestrian circulation, drainage, and stormwater infiltration as a minimum. And whereas the variance request is not substantial, as the increased runoff from the impervious coverage will be mitigated with rainwater collection and on-site infiltration, and the climate controlled building is of similar size of other nearby facilities. Whereas the applicant has agreed to continue to make available a public walking easement through the parcel from 9 Partners Drive to West Church Street to facilitate pedestrian movement as approved in the site plan review process as a means to improve the neighborhood, and hence will not have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. And whereas, we can take out the question mark, no neighbors expressed concerns regarding the application, and now therefore be it resolved that based upon the preceding findings, the zoning board of appeals of the town of Pine Plains hereby grants the application for a variance to the requirements found in Schedule of Bulk Regulations, Table B, allowing a climate controlled building not to exceed 9,600 square feet and a maximum lot coverage of not more than 73%. Not including any additional paved surface the planning board may approve subject to the following conditions. The project must receive site plan review and approval from the town planning board. And 2, the permanent pedestrian access as previously granted for public use from 9 Partners Lane to West Church Street will continue to exist in a configuration approved by the planning board in the site plan review process. So that is the draft. I do not know if either the applicant or the board has any other suggested changes or not.
I wasn't here last month, but do you need to change the date at the bottom, which says 24th of March?
Yeah.
And then amended or
Yeah.
do we just leave it as amended today?
No, we'll, again, this is where, this is where Trish always bails me out in that.
Well, I wasn't sure if you guys voted last month and then this was just an amendment to
Well,
the one that you
We
voted
did
on.
vote last. month.
Yeah, we did, but this is gonna
It's gonna be
replace,
different.
we're just gonna throw out last
Throw
month.
that one out and this is gonna be the new.
Yeah, that'll be the new one.
Okay.
Yeah, do we need to change the day of the hearing or we're gonna?
Yes, we need
Oh,
to
put-
change it
They
to today,
just put today's, okay.
today's date.
Does he have to go back to the planning board after this? Yes. Okay. And then all the people will get more notices. They're like, what's going on?
Yeah, Steve is supporting the post office.
You really are. Steve.
Yeah, and it's,
Yeah,
no, I just went through it, and I live in the little hamlet of Bethel, there's a lot of little lots, so right next to me, there were a lot of notices at whatever it is, $10 or $12 a pop.
I'd like to make a motion to accept this.
Okay.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any opposed? I hear none. Hopefully, Steve.
Thank you.
We're through.
We're trying.
It's opposition for me.
Our next item on the agenda is a application for a side yard setback at 319 Sissing Mountain Road. I did come and look, but I don't know if anybody else, probably either Ed or the applicant, just come and talk about what they're trying to do. The one thing I will say is that maps like this don't make it, because anyone from the public has the right to come in and review the application. They have to understand what it is. The easiest thing is just to take a screenshot of parcel access
Yeah.
and draw the thing on there. This,
I told him that.
yeah.
That was my fault.
But other than that, because we're assuming that somebody will provide, a map that they can see. I did read the application, and it's, I think that they're stating that the conditions on the lot, which we'll have to go look at, precludes them from meeting I think it's calls for a 50-foot setback, and it's gonna be somewhat less than that, and so we understand that, all lots can be unique and have grade and rock and trees, and what we would ask is that, again, we have a better illustration, and that you stake the location so that we can come and take a look.
Yep, very easy. It's all item 4. You can see exactly where it's gonna go.
Yep, so we just need the 4 stakes, and I presume that we would do this at our, right before the next meeting. So it'll be the 4th Tuesday.
Right,
Oh.
right after.
Oh, God, that's a day after Memorial Day.
After Memorial.
Oh,
Day.
sorry, no, I'm already thinking.
Is our meeting
Yeah.
yeah, all right, so I may have, I'll have to come. So I'm also,
What time's that's the text?
we're doing it 4 to 7, so that won't be a conflict, because we don't start till 7:30 in the ZBA.
Okay.
But I won't be able to do a site inspection right before the meeting.
Are we able to switch it to the Tuesday before that? Would that be amendable?
Or if
Or the
you,
Wednesday.
No, I think that, the hours will work, because I'm done with.
All right, you
Board of
can just
Assessment
go
review
and
at
look
7.
at it on your own.
Yeah, and I'll get up there and take a look on my own.
okay,
All right.
So just to be clear, the garage is new, the
Yeah,
shed
let's-
is already
let's
there.
talk Through this,
So. So this is Paulman's residence, 338. This is where the proposed new garage is. There's a shed there now. This is the house. This grade drops right straight off to a walkout basement right here. So this is really the only, and in this section is my septic field, and this goes straight up the road. So there really isn't much of another spot to put it.
Yeah.
And then this is probably 60 feet of rock, and then it drops off about 40 or 50 feet to his property down here.
so you're above him.
I'm above him.
You
yeah.
are, okay. I couldn't remember. I know because you're down. in
I'm
the-
definitely above him.
Do you have any problems
Yeah.
with the drainage or flooding or anything?
Oh,
No, because it all runs down.
I tell you, when we had to hurry, well, my house is in Solid Rock.
Oh, it
I
is.
hammered that out for
Okay.
a week.
Okay,
And then when we had the hurricane, my footing
Yeah.
drain, the 6-inch pipe was full, shooting about 20 feet out. So it sounded like fire. I didn't know what it was. I woke up because I get leaving dark
sure,
and I heard it and I walked down there. I couldn't believe how far the water was coming out of there.
okay. Good.
But no,
Yes.
all drainage.
I mean, I'm familiar with your site, so it makes sense. I think, yeah. based
Yeah,
on-
you'll,
Yeah.
if you go there and drive in, you'll see. It
Yeah,
makes perfect
there's
sense once you
No
pull
other
down.
place, right?
so it sounds like that, again, we're understanding, I don't know exactly where your house is. I know the general lay of the land
Yeah.
up there. I know it could be difficult to work around it.
Yeah.
And so in that regard, I do not have an issue, but we will need, in order for her to advertise an application, that Joe Schmo can walk in here and know where your property is. And again, if you just do the picture of parcel access and draw it in, I think that that's the clearest way. We're not asking you to get a detailed engineered surveying at this point. And so that's not to say that
I actually have the original survey map,
Mhm.
so it would show the house and shows my property line.
yeah, well, you could make a photocopy
Make a
of that
photocopy
little
of that.
section too.
Yep.
And, but before she can advertise, that's gotta be in our possession so that anybody, again, part of our job is to do this for the entire community and your neighbors may or may not like it, or there are people out there that just like to put their 2 cents in, and it's our job to make sure that they have the ability to do that.
Not an issue.
So with that, does anybody else need any other information other than the map?
No.
Then, are people comfortable with proceeding with a public hearing at the next meeting?
Mhm.
Assuming that the information is in.
Yes.
All right, so,
That information, that drawing has to be in before she can
For
send
the
it
notices
out,
going.
and then
yeah, so
I'll probably
go
drop.
in the next week.
Who's, what's the times here for people being here that I can drop it off? Who can I drop it off?
That's what to me.
Just to you?
Yeah.
All right. It'll be before the end of this week.
Good.
Perfect, perfect.
Okay. All right, so we will go ahead and then set that public hearing with the understanding that the information is in. And and you
Yeah.
pay the different fees that are necessary.
Yeah. I will send you a bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is.
that's that one. So,
Is there, and not, sorry to interrupt, is there anything else you guys need from me, or should I stay here for the rest?
oh no, you don't have to stay for the rest at all.
All right, I'm gonna
Um,
go dig that out, and then, I'll see you around with.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
We'll see you. Just Saturday here, if that, and we're going Saturday. All right, I probably will see you tomorrow, because you're out here late, right?
all right, our next item on the agenda is the proposed redevelopment of the Dual property. Specifically, the proposal for a grocery store, which I think was about 9,000 square feet. So it is, we have a limitation right now of the 6,000, and so we have someone from the.
Hi, my name is Dawn Santiago. I'm here from representing KDA, the owners. The project essentially is already under planning board review. I was previously approved for the work, and now we're kind of going through a technical review. Building A, which is the grocery store, currently has a square footage of 6,700 square foot building footprint. So currently already over the 6,000 square foot.
Oh, the existing duals building is what you're.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
we're calling.
okay, yeah, the wooden building that's being removed.
Exactly, and it was deemed, we reviewed it again, deemed to be structurally unstable for what we want to do in there. So we need to remove the building. It currently has a gross square footage of 13,400 square feet. We're gonna be moving that down to 1 story, bringing the gross square footage of that building down to 8,989 square feet. So that would be a 2,989 square foot addition of a variance from the original 6,000. We are also proposing removing buildings C and D, the 2 storage buildings in the back. If you go up 1 page to the front page. So right behind that building, there's 2 small buildings. Yep, building C and D. The total of those 2 buildings that we're removing are 3,548 square feet. So the addition that we're going to be putting on, or the new building's footprint, is going to be technically less square footage than what's currently on the site. And that's basically what works out best for the plan of the building and the useful water.
So the one question that I need to work out with the planning board, and I guess and the town attorney, and this board needs to be aware of that. I'm just expressing my personal opinion at this point in time. I do not have any difficulty that I'm aware of at this point. Somebody may come at the public hearing and raise other concerns, but at this point, I feel like that the square footage that you're asking for is reasonable. As you pointed out, it ends up with there being actually less square footage on the site at the end of the day. And so conceptually, I do not have an issue. This is for a little town like ours, it is a larger project. And hence there will be some kind of environmental review. You talked about just a technical review.
Of course, and the environmental review is part of, sorry, so it's part of our planning board review currently.
Yeah.
We're gonna be going through the whole SWIP process and everything else, so that is definitely.
Yeah, so I think that what we can do for you now is we can look at ourselves around the table, see if anybody conceptually has any difficulties, so that you sort of get a temperature of where we're at. I told you where I am. And then we can hold the public hearing and see what the public says. We would not be able to issue an approval until I believe that this should have a coordinated review under seeker. It makes the most sense for the planning board to be the lead agency. We would have to withhold any approval
Pending.
until there was a completion of the environmental review, which would either be a negative declaration, or if they decide that there has to be some additional studies at the completion of those. Once all that is done, and this is a similar process that we just went through down the street with the wood factory, where we held our hearing, we waited till the planning board completed the environmental review. Immediately after that was complete, we were able to then convene and give our decision.
Gotcha, okay.
And so,
And it wouldn't be like a conditional, like you couldn't say, oh, yes, we approve conditionally based on the planning board approval, so therefore if the planning board didn't approve, then
Yes.
it would be kind of null and void.
so,
Is that a possibility?
we would, if we followed the same thing that we did with the woodworking place, is that we would, once the environmental review is done, we would in fact, probably give you a decision on the variance. More than likely, the variance is going to be conditioned upon completion of the site plan approval by the planning board.
Yeah,
And
it's a
that's
conditional.
probably the only condition, well, I shouldn't say, it would be a condition that at least I would recommend. Again, I'm just one vote on a board. So I think that the question back to my other board members, does anybody conceptually have, recognizing that our only part of this is the approval of a building that is larger than the 6,000 square feet that is in the zoning law? Does anybody have anything that jumps out at them that you either need, a further look at or a further study?
As far as the building size, that's not a concern. I think that's reasonable. My only concern with the building itself is how you're getting your supplies to that building. And on this particular
Only
page,
way in is off of Railroad Avenue, is that true?
yes,
That's correct,
yes.
yeah, okay, they did the revised.
But where they're pulling in, where they're gonna pull in and back in, it doesn't look like you've given them enough room. Unless this isn't to scale.
That's the scale, the engineering,
Okay.
plan goes to buried engineering, so you will move.
50 foot?
And you have septic in here.
So, Carl, one of the things that we can do both as individuals or as a board, if you felt strong, we could write a letter or a note of concern to the the planning board will be the primary entity
Right.
addressing,
Yeah.
the
Those
site
areas.
issues and
Right.
the traffic pattern,
Okay.
the parking and things like that. So that concern you can raise as an individual, as a ZBA member, and as a highway superintendent, however you want to raise it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many, just because, totally unrelated, how many parking spots do you have to have? That's what,
What do you mean?
28, 15, and 6, okay. I'm surprised, that's a lot, good. There's more property than I
Ground
thought,
coverage.
yeah.
Yes, the required parking, if you look at that, if you scroll down,
Oh, there we go.
it's in that part.
Yeah.
There you go, it's in there, so the required parking retails for 39 spaces, restaurant is 15 spaces for a total of 54.
Now, what
And
you're
they're provided
providing
55.
restaurant is what says ice cream on
Yeah.
here? Okay.
Says in TBD, but.
Right, but it would need 15 spaces, really? Okay. Ah. Okay. Interesting.
Um. So in terms of, again, our next step was if we feel like we have enough information to hold the public hearing. On the variance for the size of the building, we could go ahead and hold that public hearing next month.
Next month.
Yeah.
I think we do.
And I
Yeah.
think that we understand and the applicant understands this has to be a coordinated
Correct.
environmental review with the planning board. I am strongly going to suggest that they be the lead agency. One, we don't want to do it, but two,
They're gonna give you.
they have to deal with all of these issues. They are the body that is most logical to carry that out.
We're in the thick of that now, reviewing all the engineer's comments, so it's definitely in process.
Um,
And can I ask, not that you would have this answer now, but have you talked to any of the neighbors? Does anybody seem opposed? Well, we know of a few people who are opposed, but we're just wondering if there's, okay. Okay.
so if the board is okay and is of the opinion to go ahead with accepting this as a completed application for what we know and what we need right now to hold the public hearing, I would suggest that we do that at the next meeting also.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay. Is there any more that you need to go forward? You've got what you need. And so,
Should I have the date for the next meeting?
May 26th.
fourth Tuesday.
Fourth Tuesday.
And we start at 7:30. I think that's it for this particular one. Is there, we also had the approval of the March meeting minutes. Did everybody get a chance to take a look at those?
I'll make a motion to approve those.
I wasn't here.
On second.
Milestone.
Yeah. And, all in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And I think we have one
I'll
that is
abstain.
going to
Wasn't here.
abstain, yes? Okay. So we're good.
Do we get to keep this copy? Yes, okay.
Do we have any other business that people need to discuss?
So,
If you need other copies, like if you need additional copies.
oh no, this is wonderful. I do good with color and paper. I'm good, thank you. It's very tough for me to read on the screen, but this is for
What was your name?
Marie. Thank you.
I'm Amanda. Hi,
Amanda. Yep.
Hi, nice to meet you. I know. It's always nice to finally put faces.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is that where you used to go?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dawn, I didn't introduce
No,
people.
I had that.
Oh, it's
before.
okay. I
Sets.
Got a little bit like
Yeah.
coming
And
from
then
the
the
wrong direction.
buildings that were across the way here, the hoops.
Yes.
Filled with set